students from other universities, state universities, state colleges came here or generally come here for every summer and winter to do kind of internship or some research activities. So that's where they can involve in the research if they don't have the proper, I should say, facilities or experience. Because sometimes what happens, the idea can they can share or they can tell us or they can suggest some good idea which is not coming from the ISRs or the IITs. Here we work or we develop some algorithms. So how to solve the real life problem. For example, one of my project we are working on some agriculture field. How can AI or deep learning can apply in the agriculture field? They are most welcome in ISR Bhopal data science department. So we will be very happy to help. Right now, what happens? Many libraries, or I should say, many frameworks available, and they provide very customized kind of things like modular kind of stuff. So I think anyone uh, from non-CSE background can learn them very easily. It's not very hard to learn the coding. Yeah, but they have to learn a bit coding. For example, they should know like basic of Python. And Python is a very simplest language in the computer science, and the whole deep learning frameworks and the whole deep learning models can be run or can be solved using Python only. AI on their respective domain. For example, if they are from the mechanical domain or maybe from some any other medical domain, science domain, so they future prediction as a researchers we can do. And in terms of the career, so as AI can replace a human or not, that's a different question. But if you don't know the AI, you can be replaced by some other person who know AI. So that's the basic. So I must encourage you people to learn about the basic AI.
Hello, everybody. Computer vision is one of the fields of artificial intelligence that trains and enables computers to understand the visual world. Computers can use digital images and deep learning models to accurately identify and classify objects and react to them. The camera on your mobile device can estimate your age simply by looking at your face. This is computer vision. Suppose you were driving a car and broke traffic rules, feeling safe that no one would catch you. But you were unaware you had already been detected by the system. And suddenly, after a few days, you received a penalty letter with your car number mentioned. This is computer vision. So today we have a guest whose research is on computer vision. So without any further delay, let's introduce Dr. Vinod. So I'd like to thank Dr. Vinod for joining us and accepting our invitation. So I know that we will have a long discussion about computer vision's current research, but apart from researcher, you are also an assistant professor, and I guess you have the teaching responsibility of BTech and MTech students, right? So my first question for you is, as a faculty member in such a premier institute, what are the differences you noticed between today's students and when you were a BTech students?
Yes, and actually, when we were the student as BTech students, so we were not aware of much of the research. Now I think the undergrads peoples are going. At least they know what the research mean, and they are very much interested. That's good. And another things like apart from the opportunities or apart from the knowledge, we don't have the like sufficient knowledge how to do research, what is the research when we were a student. But now people or the students are aware of all those things, and from second year or maybe in third year onwards they also involved in research activities. And so maybe it's market demand or the demand from the researcher side, both are equally responsible for these things. And when nowadays, like I think there is very few research institute. If we particularly talk about the India, there is very few research institutes. That's why nobody knows about the research, and there was not proper involvement in the research for the BTechs people or undergrads people. For example, AI or any many fields, peoples in the industry or higher study universities, they generally require research experience of the undergrads. That's the one of the reason they have to do research in their undergrads. So it's like sometimes they don't want, but they have to do. it's like market or the demands of the industry. So yes, in our when we were in the, like, if we compare the time when we were the undergrads, then there was no research requirement in the job positions. Right now many job positions or many for example, for higher studies, MS or PhD, the universities are expecting the undergraduate people should have some kind of research paper. So they have done some significant amount of the research, then they can only enroll in the MS or PhD. That's the one of the basic reason that they are involving, or they have to do in the research. Yes.
But in UG, they have very short amount of time, right? I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
maybe it is maybe 1 semester or maximum 2 semester. So within that short span of time, how it is possible? I mean, they wouldn't have been started research at that time, I think.
Yes, if we talk about the, like, some primary student, for example, IITs and ISERs, so their students are very sharp in their activities. So they can involve in the research along with their current studies. Second thing, like for example, they want to work in particular fields, and many masters or PhD people also working in the same field. So they will join along with them and get some kind of experience. So I can say in the not all the UG students do the research, and not all the students are the first authors, or I should say the primary leaders of the research, but they are somehow involved in the research. I say involvement in the research means they can help for masters or PhD students to do in their research activities. That's why they know how to do research, and they get the experience as well as the their interest in the research. So that's why
So,
they can manage
as
the
you
time.
said, that in present job market, doing a research is a preferred qualification. I mean, if he or she have some research
Demanding.
experience. So let's say if a person, a student, is not from such a premier institute, but
Yeah.
she, I mean, if she do not have that much of exposure on
Correct.
research, then what do you suggest that she should do?
Okay, for them where they don't have much of the research environment, I should say, because most of the universities or colleges in India, particularly, if we talk about the India or the lower grades college, they don't have the research experience, research facilities. So what they can do, at least they should read the papers, or get kind of what's going in the market. They don't need to do actually the research, or they can also involve with the other primary institute. For example, they can collaborate with other people. For example, in ISERs or IIT, many students from other universities, state universities, state colleges came here, or generally come here for every summer and winter to do kind of internship or some research activities. So that's where they can involve in the research if they don't have the proper, I should say, facilities or experience, or the
So
motivation.
you are saying that students are free. I mean, if a student is not from such a premier institute,
Yes.
from IIT, ISER, if he or she is studying in some state university, so they are free to collaborate with them.
Yes, definitely. Not only me, many faculty members of the such kind of institute are willing to serve for them. So, for example, the government of India is also enforcing us to involve those universities or those students in your research activities. That will this time they will be motivated. For example, I mean to say, they will get to know what they need to do. So that's why there is many programs. For example, in ISER Bhopal, we have the summer internship program, winter internship program. Similarly, all the IITs and all the ISERs, they have different programs for the such similar kind of setup.
So one need to visit the website to get the knowledge that when the
Yes.
programming is running, and they can apply accordingly. Okay, it's a very nice thing.
Yes. Not only the program, sometimes what happens, like, they can also direct approach to the faculty members, and by sending them emails or just talk to them in somehow. And they faculty members, most of the faculty members are very much interested to work with them, because sometimes what happens, the idea they can share, or they can tell us, or they can suggest some good idea which is not coming from the ISERs or the IITs. So that's one thing. And another thing is like the people they don't only need to go for academia; they can also go for the industry. So there are many industries in like they also offer for the research intensive kind of positions.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Thanks. It's
for
nice
that.
to hear that. Okay, so now let's come directly to your research. So can you give some idea that what is your research? If you can share some presentations, then it would be good.
Yes, I can share one of the presentation maybe. So I will share my slide.
Yes, yes.
So I'm sharing my screen. I guess yeah. Yeah. So I think it's visible my slide. Yeah. So my area was learned about the like basic machine learnings, deep learnings, AI. So all these terms are a bit related, and most of the time, for all the deep learning and machine learning models, they need a data. Without data, we cannot learn. But problem with this data things like data is not easily available, or for along with the data we need to like corresponding annotated data, not the data only. Annotated data means we have to know the corresponding labels. That's the typically machine learning or deep learning framework works. But what happens, when any machine learning, any deep learning models, what happens, we have some assumption. So these assumptions, for example, they have the label data. As I said, we need the label data. They have from the same train test, from the same distributions. All data should be available, and they have the kind of uniform modality or single modality. So my research is like to tackle those questions. Like suppose we don't have those kinds of things available. For example, we if data is not labeled, we have the unlabeled data, and or data is not available at the same time. Modalities means what kind of data, what kind of information we are using. For example, we have the visual modalities. It means we are considering the visual data. It could be an image, it could be a video, it could be a high spectrum images or thermal images, all those things. Another modality could be audio, where we have the 1D data, one dimensional signals. And another modality could be a text, for example, NLP. So another modality could be haptics, where we talk about the touch and the senses kind of things. That's the modality. So the my research or is mostly focused on how to transfer knowledge from one modalities to another modality, one task to another task, and the one domain to another domains. So here, this is what the typically machine learning models will look like. We need data to train a model, and along with the data we need a label. Label means the category or the class what the data belongs to. For example, we have the cat images, so we should know this image belongs, this is the cat image, this is the dog image, this is the cow image. And the test time, we just only need the images, and the model will predict its category. That's a typically machine learning model. But in this model or in this process, we have several assumptions. The assumptions are like, we must have the data labeled, and all the data should be available in the same time, and one time we can only deal with single modalities. So that's kind of some assumptions are there. Suppose we don't follow those assumptions, or we cannot follow those assumptions using some certain conditions, what we can do. So this is some questions like, what if we have unlabeled data? We have the data not available at the training time. Data comes in like sequentially as we human we learn. Like for example, we don't learn everything in the single lectures. We have the series of lectures. That's why model has we learn sequentially. So how to incorporate those things in models? So that's why that's my research area. So I have worked in some of or mostly all of these problems. For example, how to like make a uncertainty or the prediction from the deep learning model. And the so here the advantage of, I should say, the why the motivation of doing such kind of research is that if we are able to successfully develop this model which can tackle those issues, it means we can solve many problems in the AI. For example, there is some kind of abnormal activity detections. It means maybe there will be some fire or there might be an accident. We don't have sufficient data or sufficient data points to train a model to detect, oh, this is the accident, because there are only few accident or very few such abnormal activity happens. We have a very huge normal activity but very few abnormal activities. How to tackle, how to train a model without or limited amount of data? That's the way we have to deal sorry, we have to come up some solution to deal with this situations. So right now, one more problem with the current deep learning models or the machine learning models, they are mostly unfair. What it means unfair? Suppose we give the data and data has some huge bias towards particular attribute. For example, if we train a model on the if we want to train a face recognition model, but we only give the only male faces. For the female faces, it will not work. The reason is that it's very biased toward the male faces. Similarly, if we have our models, it's trained on the Indian face images, that model cannot work or it will not work properly for the other countries, like for example Chinese peoples or the some easter sorry west peoples faces. So that's why we have a significant distributional difference. So if so that's the basic challenges or basic need for current AI systems. So for example, many biometrics or the many face recognition system for America or Europe, they works very well. For India, they fails. Reason is that we don't have sufficient data for the Indian community or the Asian community. So can we transfer or can we utilize the USA or the European data for solve the Indian problem or vice versa? That's the basic objective or of my research. So how to transfer the knowledge between the different modalities, different distributions, different tasks, and all those things. So yeah, so this basic, I think you get to know the research ideas, what kind of area I am interested to work. If I talk about the ISER Bhopal or particularly like data science engineering department, which where I am an assistant professor. So here in this department is actually we are mostly focused on data science stream. So all the course structures on the research direction are aligned with the data science field. And particularly my group, so I am leading the visual computing group, and where mostly we will consider visual modalities or some overlapping with the visual and audio and NLP kind of stuff. So here we work or we develop some algorithms, so how to solve the real life problem. For example, one of my project, we are working on some agriculture field. How can AI or deep learning can apply in the agriculture field? We also have a good collaboration with iCare. iCare is like agriculture institute in Bhopal. Uh, another direction or another field we are looking for the medical side. So we also collaborating with AIMS Bhopal, where we are dealing some kind of research or the research problems for the medical domain using computer vision or deep learning particularly. So these kind of stuff, so students are very they are very hardworking here. We also interested to work with the physics, chemistry, math peoples or biologicals, some kind of earth science peoples, to how AI or data science can solve or maybe deal with their problems. So this is the completely interdisciplinary branch or interdisciplinary department where we are from we are welcome for all these students. Like for example, some of PhD students, their background from the economics side. Some of the some of the students are their background from the stats side. So we are also they are also doing very good work here. So that's the basic interdisciplinary thing, because data science is not only limited right now in the computer science point of view. It's a huge application in all the directions and or all the fields.
Okay, so anybody is open to contact you and have
Yeah.
this hope that he
See,
can she can work on your group too.
Yeah, sure. So welcome. If not only he or she want to work with me, he or she needs any advice or maybe some kind of short term research experience, they are most welcome in ISER Bhopal data science department. So we will be very happy to help them.
And one more important question I want to ask here, that how much coding knowledge is required? I mean, students usually get scared with coding.
Yes. So actually, when the deep learning or machine learning was like proposed, so then, for example, in 2012, the first person was the AlexNet, and he just wrote a code, like very complicated code. He tried to run that code on the CPU with multiple threading kind of things. So that happens. Right now, what happens? Many libraries, or I should say, many frameworks available, and they provide very customized kind of things like modular kind of stuff. So I think anyone uh, from non-CSE background can learn them very easily. It's not very hard to learn the coding. Yeah, but they have to learn a bit coding. For example, they should know like basic of Python. And Python is a very very simplest language in the computer science, and the whole deep learning frameworks and the whole deep learning models can be run or can be solve using Python only. So, or and the for the other libraries, for example, from the TensorFlow, or from the Google's, PyTorch from the Facebook. In the day by day, they are trying to like enhance their libraries so that everyone from non-CSE at least can also use them as a black box or maybe some kind of modular kind of structure. So that's not a very like difficult right now to learn coding for the deep learning or AI. Yeah.
And there are also lots of internet resources are there.
Yes, definitely. Yes. So that's a one good thing. Like you can find a lot of resources related to AI and deep learning, lot of tutorials, lot of blogs, and lot of YouTube videos actually. So they can take help from them. They are very beneficial. Yeah.
Then I would suggest that at one hand, students should start learning Python, and on the other hand, you should also think about the direction. Okay.
Yes.
It is very important. So, could you please tell something about current vacancies in your group?
Yes, in for example, not only my group, there are many faculty members in DSC department. They are always looking for some of the good students. We are like I think I should say we are like heavily looking for good PhD students, the people who are interested to PhD in data science. And we always have the different kind of application. Like in this December only, we have floated application for the PhD positions. And I think in the April May we also have the second round or the for the PhD thing. For the internships, as I said, in the ISER Bhopal, we have the winter internship program as well as the summer internship program. For summer, we have generally have 2 months internship program, and for winter, we have the 1 month internship program. That generally every years it will offer. So students who are like undergrads, like second year, third year, and fourth year, they can also come here for do their internship. For the GRFs and the research position, so we all most of the time there is always a vacancy in DSC department actually. So if you are interested, please apply here. You can talk to any faculty members for their requirement or their need, or I should say what kind of uh, experience they require. So always we have vacancies. Sometimes, so for example, this is not always mandatory. He or she has to stay in Bhopal. It's depend upon their mentor or maybe their supervisors. Because the AI and data science work, we don't need a physical, practical, physical experiments. It can be done remotely perfectly if he or she is very much interested, or I should say enthusiastic. Then he or she can work remotely. For example, I am working some of the students. They are not in ISER Bhopal campus. They are from some other institutes, and I am supervising them as a internship, or I should say some kind of collaboration. I should say not internship, because we are doing some problem in collaborative mode.
You are talking about PhD. So, is it possible that after completing BTech,
yes, after BTech, we also take as a PhD, but they must have to like qualify some national level exam, for example, GATE or NET. That's the central government's rules, so we have to follow that thing. If they are eligible or they have qualified GATE or NET, they can directly apply here as a PhD, irrespective of their branch. For example, they are from other branches, maybe electrical, or they from some instrumentation branch, or maybe some kind of non-CSC kind of branch, they can also apply here as a PhD if they have like done the BTech as well as the GATE or NET kind of qualification. He will definitely, many industries will willing to like give them as a internship as well as different kind of fellowship. For example, in India, Google Research or the Microsoft Research, they are also like give different kind of fellowship in terms of travel grant, in terms of the equipment, in terms of the internship fellowship. So they also provide such kind of facility. So uh, that because of those facility, student can encourage or maybe motivated to do a good research.
Okay, so nice to hear that. So we are on the verge of the ending of our discussion. So finally, I just want to ask one question: that do you want to give any advice to the future BTech students or a future researcher who is kind of in dilemma that whether she should pursue research as a career or not? So what is your take?
Yeah, so I think right now this is like I should say golden era of the AI. I think all the fields, not only like as earlier I also said the same thing, like in not only computer science peoples, in every field it's applicable AI. So I think they must should know the basics of the AI, because not right now, later on you will need to apply AI on their respective domain. For example, if they are from the mechanical domain, or maybe from some any other medical domain, science domain, so they later on they must have to apply in the AI. That's the like future prediction as a researchers we can do. And in terms of the career, so as AI can replace a human or not, that's a different question. But if you don't know the AI, you can be replaced by some other person who know AI. So that's the basic. So I must encourage you people to learn about the basic AI, because there is a lot of resources available, and it's very easy right now to learn the AI, and it's very really very interesting actually.
Okay, so thanks to have you in the discussions, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And bye.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Yeah, it's was very nice discussion with you. Yeah.